Hi everyone, before you dive into the episode, I just wanted to interrupt really quickly. You're gonna dive into this episode and you're gonna hear me call this podcast the Holistic Hustle Podcast. And that is because it used to be the old name of this podcast. And it was an amazing ride. I'm so grateful for the Holistic Hustle Podcast and what it served. But recently I've decided to rebrand the podcast based off the evolution of my own journey, my own story, and where God is calling me to go next. And so now the rebrand, which you may know already, is called Wisdom is Wealth. Didn't want you to be confused, so dive into this episode. They were an amazing episode, amazing guests, amazing insights, and enjoy.
A part of me now looks back, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm right there. Let me go to another event and do more networking and get my next call. But I just was crushed, bro.
Hi, I'm Justin Buonamo, and this is Holistic Hustle. Holistic Hustle is doing things for the right reasons, working hard for the right reasons. The healthy balance of what work and progression and accomplishment and success should actually look like. Welcome back to another episode of the Holistic Hustle Podcast. I have an absolute freaking treat for you today. My boy Chris Stapleton is on with us, and he has started his own online marketing journey in 2009. After being mentored by one of the best community builders in the world, he took his expertise to Facebook and started teaching others how to generate leads and sales using Facebook groups. My company being one of those. Since 2020, he's taken their brand new Facebook group from 0 people to 56,000 members and has made over $17 million cash for his coaching company, clients, and community. His rise on Facebook got the attention from top marketers all over the world. Just recently, after helping clients earn over $150 million from their groups in dozens of different niches, Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi's team stated that clients and community is revolutionizing the way coaches market online. Chris has since automated his organic marketing strategies on Facebook with his new software called Client Genie, and as he sees the future of AI being a huge disruptor in the coaching space moving forward. And so I know Chris many ways. You know, one of my employees was raised by that same marketing genius that he mentioned as his mentor, but really how I got to know Morgan Madden, Mark Hoverson, right?
Oh, dude. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Yep.
That got my attention. Morgan Madden, of course.
Morgan Madden. Yeah, he's actually coming over here in a couple hours, and they were raised by an amazing dude named Mark Hoverson in the business space. And then after that, though, that's how I learned about Chris and his company, Clients and Community. I became a client of their company for a little bit over a year. And I'd say 80% of the success and the things that we do in my company, JFF, is what I learned from Clients and Community, right? And I always tell this story. When I signed up for one of their products, I paid in full. And one of the pay in full incentives was you get a one-on-one with one of the founders. And it's Chris and 2 other amazing dudes. But I always just was pulled towards Stapes and what he had to offer and who he was as a human and his expertise in business. And I remember when I signed up, I was praying that my one-on-one would be with him. And a day later, I got the email and they're like, book your time with Chris Stapleton. He's the one that we picked for you to have your one-on-one with. And to say that that one-on-one ended up changing my life would be an understatement. I was only supposed to get 40 minutes. Chris is very generous with his time and gave me an hour and 40 minutes. And this was 3 years ago. And the majority of the shit that he taught me and or helped me develop on that call is things that we not only still use to this day in my business, but is what has created an incredible amount of success for me, my employees, and our clientele. So this man is very special to me, and it's beyond an honor to have you here today, dude. So thank you for showing up.
Absolutely, man. 3 years ago now.
Isn't that crazy?
Holy cow. Man, we're growing up together, man. We're growing up together. That just blows my mind. I thank you for having me on, man. It's a long time coming. I appreciate you. And I absolutely remember that call. And it's been awesome to watch you grow and develop as a leader. So thanks for having me on, man.
Of course, dude. Of course. And anybody that is listening to this might be the best guest that I've ever had, particularly in the online business space. I own a very successful and impactful coaching company, and I work with a lot of them as well. And I always tell people if I had to pick the best coaching company in the world, it would be Clients and Community, right? And we have the founder here today. And so as you can imagine, he's had an incredible amount of success in the entrepreneur space, which we're definitely going to get into. But it obviously wasn't always that way. And I know you've told me a few stories. Morgs has told me a few stories. But can you talk to some of the life and business hurdles you had to overcome to get to where you're at now?
Man, the war stories are endless. The war stories are endless. And it's all made me stronger, wiser. So I think I'm probably the longest overnight success story in our industry. Not many even people know. I mean, if I rewind back to 2008, 2009, I was in my early 20s and I looked around in the internet marketing world and like there was no 22, 23, 24 year olds making $100,000 months.
Mm.
So I was actually the young buck buying a $10,000 program at 22 on a 30% interest credit card. My mom and dad thought I was absolutely insane. And I remember showing up to that event, looking around, and I was the youngest guy in the room by like 5 to 6 years. I mean, people were walking up to me like, "What are you doing here?" Like, you know what I mean? How do you afford this? It's like, well, have you heard of credit cards? Like, so, I've been in this space for a long time. I remember joining my first network marketing company back when I was 18 years old. I always wanted to be free. I always wanted to have my own business. My mom was like more of a corporate America, had one job her whole life. And this is what's crazy to me. She had one job her whole life, got promoted until she was the HR manager, making six figures. And then my dad was more of the construction general contractor entrepreneur. So I was able to see both sides, like corporate America and entrepreneurship. And I always gravitated toward entrepreneurship. So I remember, joining network marketing. I was at a wedding because I was a wedding videographer trying to make money, creating videos at weddings. But this guy recruited me into his network marketing business because I remember he approached me just like I used to approach everybody when I was younger in network marketing. He's like, "You look sharp. You look like you've got, some potential. Do you want to work on a side business?" So, I joined network marketing and I saw the model, I saw the leverage. I went to my first event. I saw people walking across stage and making money in direct sales. But I realized at that point, I had a long way to go. I had a long way to go. I think entrepreneurship, and I use network marketing as an example. I know many of you guys listening, you're in coaching, business coaching. Some of you may not be in network marketing or AKA affiliate marketing, but that's where I cut my teeth. And that's where I really believe I really started to understand that entrepreneurship, especially direct sales, which we're all in, Justin, you're in it, I'm in it. It holds a mirror up to who you are and it shows your weaknesses in the most transparent, real way as possible. Like I'm getting chills talking about this because I think entrepreneurship is one of the best personal development experiences you could possibly go on as an individual. And I realized that I didn't have good sales skills. I didn't have good leadership skills, not only leading other people, but leading myself through self-sabotage and self-belief. I understood I wasn't very organized. I didn't really understand money. There was all these things that came at me at once. And, man, I don't know if you knew this, but I struggled for many, many years in this thing. I tried to monetize all my friendships. I started making a couple $1,000s a month, but then no one can duplicate what I did because I was literally walking around shopping malls, walking up to strangers in libraries. And I got kicked out of my community college. Um, after I dropped out, I went back to recruit people and I got kicked out of my community college. So I went through the ringer in this, man. And it wasn't until I finally realized that I needed to figure something out because it wasn't working. And I went to oh, I'm getting a call. One sec. I remember it like yesterday. My mentor or my sponsor at the time sent me to an internet marketing event, and at the time, I didn't even know what internet marketing was because I was doing everything belly to belly. This was back in 2009, and that's where I actually at that event met my mentor, Mark Hoverson. And I know Mark. You mentioned him in the introduction, and at that moment, Mark sat me down and started to talk to me about things like YouTube, like leverage, like automations. And he said, I could place a video on YouTube and people can watch me like vicariously through their room at home in their pajamas and they can buy my products. And at that moment in time, my mind just absolutely blew open. And Mark really took me under his wing. I was a young in my early 20s. Mark just turned 30 years old, just crossed $1 million for the first time. And at that time, $1 million a year was incredible. He was making $100,000 a month. I thought, man, if I could just make a fraction of that, my entire life would change. But man, it wasn't easy, man, because I had a lot of self-sabotage. I had a lot of self-belief issues. And I actually got to a point after meeting Mark that I wanted it so bad, bro. I wanted it so bad. I wanted to succeed so bad, but I was terrified to fail. And did you ever hear that story where I almost recruited a guy that ended up making tons of money? He became the number one recruiter in the company. Want me to tell that story? Because I think it's
Yeah,
good for
tell 'em.
people to hear. I think it's good for
Yeah.
people to hear. There's going to be times in your career, guys, where you're on the tip of breaking through and you have it in your fingertips. And for whatever reason, it doesn't happen. And you feel like you're taking 5 steps back on your dreams and 5 steps back, you know. And Justin, we've had transparent conversations. It's business, man. Like we're all going to hit it one day. So this was what almost made me quit on my entire dreams. I wouldn't be here today if I didn't keep pushing through. But long story short, at that same event where I met Mark, I met another gentleman named Cedric Harris. He was making $100,000 a month in network marketing, incredible guy, crushing it on all areas. Well, he was interested in my product I was selling. I was selling a product called send out cards at the time, which is like physical greeting cards you can send to people, but it's in your own handwriting. Interesting product, good for a marketing tool. And Cedric was like, dude, I like this product. I'm interested in hearing more. Call me after this event. Well, I get home after the event. I'm back at my bartending job because I was working at the bar serving rice and beans at a Mexican restaurant, making $2 tips. And I remember Cedric called me the 3 days after that event, and I couldn't answer the phone because I was serving a table. I looked at the phone, I saw Cedric. I was like, I'll call him right back in like 5 minutes. Well, I start getting busy and I'm not able to call him back for like 20 to 30 minutes. And I remember calling Cedric. He picks up the phone and he's like, where were you? And I was like, I was working, man. I was like, what's up? How you been after the event? He's like, I was calling you to sign up for send out cards. But since you didn't answer, I called somebody else and I signed up with them.
Hmm.
Because, and he's like, I want you to remember this, Chris, for the rest of your life. Money loves speed.
Hmm.
He's like, if you want to succeed in this business, you have to move with speed and intentionality, and you need to be on top of things. And at that moment, I just was like, holy cow. I shut the phone off. That next week, Cedric Harris was the number one recruiter in that company. And the guy he signed up under started making $25,000 a month from Cedric's production. So that was that one moment in time where I'm like, I'm
Mm.
done. Fuck this. Excuse my language. I hope. Sorry, it's just
You're
some
good.
passion here.
You're
I'm
good,
like,
dude. You're good.
it's not gonna. This is like, it's it for me. And I was young, man. A part of me now looks back, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm right there. Let me go to another event and do more networking and get my next call. But I just was crushed, bro. So I quit my dreams, went back to the bar, quit
Hmm.
everything. And for a year, I increased my bartending hours. I started traveling with my girlfriend at the time, started making more money, like $6,000 to $7,000 a month at the bar, which was way more than my business.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm traveling, I've got some money now, but why am I not happy?
Yeah.
Because when you're working at the bar, you've got your days, you're free, you can work out during the day, you go work a few hours at night. I'm making 300 to 400 bucks a night. I'm traveling
Yeah.
with my girlfriend. It feels like, but I just was not happy. And there was a part of me that I realized that when you have the bug of the DNA bug of entrepreneurship in your brain and in
Yeah.
your heart, no matter how hard you try to quit, you will not be able to get that fulfillment. You will not be able to scratch that itch hard enough to where you will be happy. So everyone watching this, that's an entrepreneur that has that bug that started a business, I promise you, do not fall away from this dream because you will not be happy. Just figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good.
And then from there, Justin, to put a bow on this, man, the amount of struggle, I got back in after a year. I came back in. Mark picked me right back up where I left off. We started building products together. I finally quit my job. Landon Stewart came into my life. We partnered up. We combined forces with Mark, and we scaled his company to
Mhm.
$250,000 a month. Me and Landon were running the webinar. Mark was teaching us community building, how to drive culture, and we were crushing it. And then one day Mark pulled me aside. He's like, "You're not going to believe this, man. And I'm going to tell you something right now. You're truly not going to believe. Just know I'm not in pain and everything's going to be okay. But I have 90 days to live.
Yeah.
90 days." And I just was at that point, I'm like, here we go. This is life. I had a little bit more experience at that time, but of course, everything started caving in. And Mark lived for a few more years, but it was a really tough couple years there because it was hard to keep going, man, when the owner and the visionary and the man behind the magic is dying, and he had the same cancer as Steve Jobs, the pancreatic stuff. So, when he passed away, me and Landon were left with almost nothing. Literally, actually nothing. We were at $0, like in the bank. I had to sell my motorcycle. I remember selling my motorcycle. I had $97 in my bank account. I know this sounds like a cliche story. I'm just telling you guys, you guys look at clients and community and it's like, oh my God, 17 million cash, 150 million for your clients. Like, I'm going to tell you guys the long path to freedom here, and it can be messy. And that's part of the game, but I
Yeah.
remember, Mark passed away. Me and Lana were left with nothing, thankfully. And this is one thing I'm going to talk about in this podcast is you guys deserve to succeed because of the people that you'll bring into your life, the network, like me and Justin meeting each other. Like we're going to be able to connect with each other for many, many years. Like I've got your back, you've got mine. So when I went in that process of growing with Mark, getting some of that authority built up in the space, me and Landon were able to fall and land at a $10,000 a month job. Each of us were paid $10K a month to be a coach inside of a big community, right? And we were the lead ad guys in that community. And then long story short, brother, right after that, we decided we can't have a job. We're back in a job, even when we're making 10 grand a month, we're not happy. That DNA bug, right? It started to scratch at me and Landon. So we decided, you know what? Let's start our own business, our own company. Let's take everything Mark taught us around community building, around direct response, because Mark was the king of Facebook groups. He was the guy around Facebook groups. The NFL was actually consulting with Mark before he died around building communities on Facebook. There's a lot of things around some of the magic Mark created, but we took a lot of those principles and we decided to start Clients Community back in 2020.
Awesome.
And then from there, I could talk to you for the next 3 hours on the challenges of starting that company. But I think
Yeah,
that's where
dude.
history kind of picks up. That's where, you kind of you discovered us, and, that business grew incredibly quickly. We struggled for the first 6 months. We couldn't break through 20K a month. But as soon as we found the right mentorship and we locked arms with some sales guys and we were able to scale pricing, we hit 100K a month in 90 days, then 200, then 500. We hit $1 million a month in our first year, and just really just blessed at that point. But it was a long road, bro.
Yeah, dude. I'm happy you
I
shared
know
though,
that was a
man.
lot, but I think it's good
No, no, no.
for.
It's everything I wanted and more in the best way possible because it reminds me of two quotes that I really love. One, when things start to become expectations, they're no longer problems, right? And a big part of the expectation of entrepreneurship is you're going to run into so much shit. That's why there's so many people in this world, or actually, let me go the other way. That's why there is a small amount of people in this world who never end up living their dream life, who never end up going out and having financial freedom and living life on their own terms, is because the issues and the things that you have to overcome and the person that you have to develop into to ultimately reach that outcome. And when they hit
Yeah.
these expected roadblocks, right? These things that are a part of the game, instead of seeing them as an expectation, instead of seeing them lined with an asset of wisdom from the experience, they see them as a problem. And that's why they quit or never get started in the first place. And then
100%.
the second quote that I love is things that happen all of a sudden don't happen all of a sudden, right? And a big part of your success, it was
Hmm.
day in and day out for years grinding, right? Up and down, right? Adversity, success, right? And,
Yep.
it led to, what some people would see like as this overnight success, but it definitely was not the case. And so,
Mm-mm.
I think we live in a world these days where like, yes, we're getting away from hustle culture, which is awesome. It's great. It's a big part of this podcast. The hustle
Great.
for the right reasons, holistic hustle, right? But at the same time, what happened is the
Smart
pendulum
hustle.
has fucking swung the whole other way, right? And we think that we're just going to meditate $1 million onto our front doorstep, right? We
Yeah.
have to go out and do. And the majority of ways that we grow and the majority of ways that we reap success is not really from the success themselves, but from the hard times that we're put through. Like you have two decisions, right? Is you're going to keep going or you're going to quit, right? And I think that's just
Mhm.
awesome to hear that as a part of your story because we landed right? Or at least where you just left off was with CNC, right? And so clients and community, which I often call, like I said before, the best coaching company in the world. And I really believe that. I've been quoted, it's on camera
It's an
several
amazing
times, right?
quote, bro. I
With
love that.
no incentives. I'm happy you do, dude. Like we just had a live event in August, and it's literally Morgan was the camera guy. It literally is on camera. I'll send you the clip of me saying that, right? And a lot of the thing, and I've said it
I
multiple
love that.
times, right? Because it's changed my life, in so many lives. It's countless lives, man. And so with that, I know you went through a lot of this part of the story of like the trials and the tribulations, if you will, or more so like the trials. What has
Yeah,
been your favorite part though of CNC? Because I'm going to get to this here in a second. You guys are taking another venture right now, but like for the
sure.
4 or 5 years that you were in business with the amazing coaching products that you had, what was your favorite part of the journey?
You know what's interesting about CNC, man, is we never wanted a coaching business.
No? Okay.
Believe it or not, bro. Believe it
Yeah.
or not. And then I'm gonna tie this all in a bow for you to make it special because the coaching industry is one of the most beautiful, prolific industries I think exist right now, and it's going nowhere but up. But man, yeah, we had a course when me and Landon were, just starting off, man. We had an automated webinar at 997. We were really, our strengths, me and Landon we are really good at copywriting and direct response marketing and building funnels, which really falls in perfectly to course sales, right? If you can drive targeted leads toward an automated webinar that converts, it's a beautiful business. Um, but we actually, when we were stuck at 20K a month for a long time, man. And it was because of that course model. When we hired our mentors at the time, Traffic and Funnels, Chris and Taylor had a call with us. Those are the owners at the time. And they were like, you guys need to have a coaching program. You guys need to triple your price. You need to add sales guys and like, let's make this a real business, And it's like, interesting. Yeah, I guess we're terrified to raise our price. You know what I mean? We're scared to death. You know some of that story. We're at 997. They wanted us to double it and we were terrified. I remember the first sales call, we couldn't even do it. We still said 997, but we ended up having that courage and we scaled up clients community, as you know. I mean, it changed our entire life. We started making multiple six figures a year. We moved into our dream apartments. I bought my dream car I've always wanted. But outside of the lifestyle, outside of the freedom it provides to be able to create your own schedule and live the life of your dreams, without a doubt, the coaching space, for me, the biggest thing, and I didn't realize it at the time when we first started it, but it's the ripple effect that you have in
Yeah.
people's lives. And let me explain. When we help people build coaching businesses, we're helping people lose weight, dial in their finances, build the relationships of their dream, recover from divorces, start their own profitable business, start their nonprofit charities. Like there's all these beautiful things. So when we succeed in clients' community, we're actually helping thousands and thousands of people heal and solve problems in their life, which is in the business coaching industry that we're in, right? Because we serve a lot of different niches. For you, imagine all the impact that you're having on people's finances because that ripple effect is coming down to their children, it's coming down to their friends, their family. The amount of impact that they can have on other people's life because they have their finances in order, it goes so much deeper than your program. So for me, man, it's really after a few years of doing this, it's having people like you on Zoom saying, you've changed my life. And then I see all of your clients. I mean, right before this call, you said, bro, like our program is changing lives. It's transforming lives. It's setting people free. And to me, I get a really big kick out of that because if you didn't book a sales call with us, chances are high you would have succeeded. Maybe not as fast, right? Maybe you would have run into some challenges, but the fact that I'm a little part of that story means the world, bro. Like it means the
Mm,
world. So I think the most special part of CNC for me is when I can meet you guys in person at the live events. We just hosted our last event here in Scottsdale.
yeah.
And it's just special, dude. It's hard to duplicate. It's hard to replicate on Zoom. You see all these people. I call the events from pixels to physicals, from pixels to the physical world. And that's where I feel like you see your business in real time. Like you see your business and you see your team and your clients, and it's like, holy crap, I built this thing. Like, and that's where I
Mm.
feel like, sometimes you work on your business all day long behind a computer screen and you're typing away at your keyboard. And then you kind of pick your head up one day and you're in a room with all these beautiful clients and people coming up to you, shaking your hands, and everyone's sharing wins and gratitude around business and life and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, I get it now. This is what we're in it for. This is the game. This is the actual business.
Mm.
So I
Yeah.
think live events, bring it to life and kind of strip away that digital, the ones and zeros we see on the screen all day. And then you get in person, you shake your hand. I know you just hosted your live event. And to me, man, that's probably the most special aspect. Even though it's the biggest challenge of running a business, live events, like it's the
Yeah, it is.
hardest thing to do. It's difficult, it's expensive, but the reward is just truly magical, man.
Yeah,
The
dude.
friendships, I don't think we'd be as connected if we didn't meet in person, and I
For
think that
sure.
just brings it all together.
Dude, it's so good. I'm happy that you shared that because, people pay for solutions, and you guys came up with an incredible solution to a big old problem in the industry, right? And that's like, how do I take this idea that I have and allow it to expand to have the impact I want it to have? And then I think a big reason that's a big reason you guys have had success. But another reason is just income is a byproduct of impact. Right.
Yeah,
And the income that you guys have brought in is in direct correlation to the impact that you've had on this world, dude. And so I'm just so happy you share that. And for anybody listening to this, like keep following your dreams. What Chris is talking about right now and what he's been able to accomplish and me on a smaller scale is not possible at a day job. It's not possible at a day job,
totally.
right? When you're helping other people, fulfill their business dreams, you're taking away from the opportunity to fulfill your dreams through your own business,
Hmm.
right? And so before we go here, Stapes,
And real
anything that these
quick,
dudes touch,
Justin,
yeah, go
I
ahead,
just
dude.
love what you said there. And like Mark always talked about this too, is just like people look at money as like for me, money is a unit of energy, right? It's literally
Yeah,
a
it is.
neutral form of energy. So that it's not positive nor negative. It actually just magnifies who you are. So
Amen.
if you're it really just goes in the direction of your energy. So it's a unit of neutral energy. But Marco would always tell me in business, in coaching, and really in any business, every dollar is a thank you receipt. So they're
Mm.
saying, thank you, sir. I'll take that. Thank you. So like the more dollars we make in our business, when I started to really think like, man, look at all these thank yous, it
I
really
love
comes
that.
back to like this again, this is people behind these dollars. I think in coaching, it's more important than ever right now in 2024 to understand that every dollar you see there's a soul behind it. There's literally an individual saying thank you. And don't
Mm.
forget that. Don't forget that as you continue to grow and scale. And the amount of dollars in your bank account, like you said, is directly correlated to the amount of impact you've had on others. So it's a really good measurement of the amount of reciprocity you're receiving in the world. So I just wanted to, I
Yeah,
love what you said there. Money and all that stuff, I love to talk about it. I don't think it's talked about enough in this
I agree.
industry. I think tactics have kind of overrun this game, especially over the last 6 to 12 months, where even just understanding money, the energy of money, how it moves, what it's designed to do, and then also the mindset work, Justin, I think that's very underutilized. I'm glad we talked about the struggle in the beginning because I could sit here
Yeah,
and talk tactics, but if you want tactics, tactics is a commodity at this point. There's so much
yeah.
information on YouTube and stuff. Obviously, when you put it inside a program, it's streamlining all that information for you. But I think people talking about money more, people talking about mindset, and just not only just making money, but like understanding money. I think that can help a lot of people. So just wanted to throw that out there because I know this is a money podcast in a way. Do you help a
In a
lot of
way, yeah,
people with
for sure.
finances and business and stuff like that? But the reason I brought it up because my relationship with money was all skewed. And until I
Yeah,
figured
dude.
that out, and it took me years, that's when the world kind of started to open up for me.
Dude, it's so good because money is energy, right? And the biggest needle mover in your money game is to enhance the vibration of your thoughts, aka the energy behind them. And that's when you'll start to attract more money. It's crazy to see how it works. And just seeing dollars as thank you receipts, right? That's enhancing the vibration of the thoughts behind money. And I
Exactly.
always tell people like, the amount of money in your bank account is just usually a direct correlation to what's going on inside of you. Your external wealth is just a reflection of your internal wealth, right?
Right.
And
Right.
I love that we got down that rabbit hole a little bit, dude. And to end this though, like speaking of money, but maybe another currency like gold. Every time that these dudes at CNC, Stapes and his partners touch something, it turns into gold. And the next thing that they're working on right now is something called Client Genie. Can you talk about
Mhm.
that a little bit here, and how it could help the
Yeah.
audience?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, we figured out how to make money on Facebook, right? We have really cracked that code. As you know, you've made millions with our process, and it's a beautiful thing when you understand the mechanics behind direct response and copywriting and creating action amongst people online. Like being able to use words to direct an action is it's a powerful thing. Mark always used to tell me the highest form of the two highest paid forms, the two highest paid skill sets in the world are copywriting and
Mm,
leadership. And copywriting falls into what you write and how you speak. Highest paid skill in the world. The second is leadership, not only leading others, but really understanding how to lead yourself. So over the last few years, we figured out how to do this on Facebook, right? With copywriting and being able to lead yourself and lead others. Um, and it requires work. It's not like this overnight thing. You got to put in the work. You've got to build a Facebook group. You've got to grow that group. You've got to provide strategic content inside that group to shift beliefs of your leads and your audience around your offer to get them either booking a call or buying a program. And some of that can take time, right? So we're over the last few years, and it's not a lot of content. That's one thing we could talk about too, is one thing I disagree with a lot of the things I see online right now. Our process doesn't require posting every single day, but it requires time. So over the last few years, we decided, you know what? Jaden, our third business partner, is very advanced in software and technology. He's like half alien, half human being. Me and Landon really understand marketing, so we can build amazing funnels, and we're really good at building client experiences too. So software comes down to all UI. It's all user interface. It's all pure product. So you have to be good at like building software and understanding human behavior and stuff like that. So we said, let's go after this. Let's pursue it. So we started putting money into building a software about 18 months ago.
oh, cool.
We had GroupKit that was already existing, so we wanted to kind of expand on GroupKit. And GroupKit's a software. If you go to groupkit.com, you could check it out. But it's probably going to merge into Client Genie soon. But it extracts the leads from your group members coming into your group and filling out those approval questions. GroupKit extracts that leads, put it into your autoresponder, organizes all of their answers so you can follow up with that lead in the future. So we built Client Genie to do a bunch more, man. And you know what? We launched this thing recently, and it took off much faster than we ever expected. I mean, when we launched this, we expected to have 50 to 100 people sign up. And then within the first week, we had 300 people sign up. As of today's recording, we have 500 active members. So we really started to see the future, not only of AI, but just software and leverage. And we've been building CNC for so many years, going on 5 years now. We were ready for our next phase and our next level of skill sets and really developing our entrepreneurial identity. And we see a lot of opportunity with Client Genie. It's got some enterprise value. We're learning a whole new set of skills, Justin, that it's just exciting, man, and we're keeping all the skills we learned in coaching too. So we're kind of
Mm.
taking a lot of those things and implementing it into software, which I think is a cool opportunity because a lot of the software guys, they didn't come from coaching. They came from like tech and
Yeah.
coding and stuff
Very
like
true.
that. So we're building some like really cool onboarding experiences and things like that. So you know what? It's taken off, and we decided that for us to really hit the next level and for us to really have that capacity to make this a big enterprise value potential exit in 4 to 5 years, we decided let's slowly start winding down some of our coaching programs and just go all in on this SaaS, because when people are implementing this software the right way, following our strategy, they're getting incredible results with it. So it was a big decision on us, man. When
Yeah.
you're shifting gears and you've got this identity wrapped around this program and this community. I mean, you heard the heartfelt, message I shared about how important this is and how impactful this community was. So it was a really tough decision to make, but at the end of the day, it's really starting to pay off. It's really starting to develop our skills. We're getting a lot of praise in the industry for the things we've done and the impact we've had. And we're starting to really spread our wings and grow, man. So ClientGenie.ai is our new baby. And
I love it.
it's cool too, man, because it's not like we're getting into I'm just trying to think of a random, we're not getting into car sales. You know what I mean? We're still teaching Facebook groups. We're still teaching the model at the highest level, but now we're leading with software versus coaching, which
Mm.
obviously our software has some coaching elements too. But it's taking everything we've learned over the last 4 years with groups, community, and it's implementing it into AI and really letting that software run. And I don't think I explained what the software does, but you know, it really essentially automates 90% of the organic marketing on Facebook when it comes to growing your Facebook group. So it automatically finds the hottest leads on Facebook and adds them as a friend, invites them to your group, sends that first introduction message automatically on your behalf. When you do a two-step or like a honeypot post where you make a post on Facebook and you say, hey, I've got this free thing, who wants it, to create some buying conversations and get people booking sales calls or buying products, you hook Client Genie right up to the post and it'll automatically respond on your behalf and send everybody the resource in Facebook Messenger, spread out strategically to make sure you don't get banned or restricted on Facebook. And you bolt it onto your Facebook profile and it saves you, 2 to 3 hours a day of growing your Facebook group. And when you can grow your Facebook group by 15 to 20 people a day, and you have the right systems and offer set up and the right price point, 15 to 20 people a day, that can equal $15,000 to $30,000 a month with the right offer. So that's been our big focus. We're learning a lot, working out all the kinks over the first few months here, but now we've got a lot of those patched up, and it's off to the races, man.
Dude, I'm so proud of y'all. It's so incredible. Like I said before, like anything that these dudes touch turns into gold. And I'm just so happy that you're still keeping that coaching aspect a little bit, but also at the same time, not being silly when God comes knocking with a new opportunity and blessing.
Yeah.
And so I want everyone to take this episode as a new opportunity and blessing. And I know they will, dude, because you're just such a high person of value, not even just expertise wise, but character wise, man. And I just beyond appreciate you coming here today. I'm definitely going to have you back for round 2 at some point. But I think today was just so valuable for not just the audience, but myself, dude. And I couldn't be more grateful for you making the time to show up.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, happy to chat, and appreciate all the kind words, man. Like I said, it means a lot coming from you. You're a world-class guy, and I feel like we've been friends for years, like for some reason. So yeah, just thanks for having me out. It's been a long time coming, and yeah, dude, it's good to share, and it brings up a lot of stuff that I haven't really thought of, and these questions. I don't do podcasts. I don't do podcasts, so it's kind of cool when you sent me some of the questions before. It's like, man, this is kind of fun to kind of stir up and think about some of those moments and opportunities that got me to where I am. So thanks for bringing it back.
Dude. Of course, dude. You got to do more podcasts. You got so much value and so much energy, dude, and so much light to give, bro. And I know everyone is going to be so super grateful and impacted by this episode. And so thank you again. And thank you for everybody for listening. I hope you enjoyed another episode of the Holistic Hustle podcast, and do everyone in your circle a favor and share this episode with them. You're going to be like the man or the woman in the group chat or at holiday dinner coming up here, right? Like Stapes is the absolute real deal, and anything that he has to offer and or say, as I mentioned, is gold. And so I appreciate everybody for listening. Download, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Holistic Hustle podcast.